everyone, it's Fitz with the post-game walk and talk. You know, Ryan Gilbert's going to take these over for the rest of the road games and possibly the NCAA tournament. He did it from Oklahoma, and he did a fantastic job, but he showed off by walking and talking. So this is for you, Gills. I can do it too. I just prefer not to. I like to focus on my viewers. Ryan Gilbert. Kansas State wins this one 61-55. And it felt like a cool drink of water for the Wildcats. Boy, they needed that. They really needed to shake out of this slump that they were in. They've now won a couple games at home. They have another opportunity on Tuesday against a really good Baylor team. As I tape this, they're giving KU all kinds of problems in Lawrence. So it's tough in this conference. It's brutal. As K-State does win this game, and a big reason why was the littlest fella, Marquise Noel, had 2 points at halftime. Didn't shoot the ball well. He didn't shoot the ball well in the game. He was 4 of 13 from the field, but he was 4 of 9 from three-point range, and that proved to be absolutely enormous. The team cut down on turnovers. They outscored Iowa State off of turnovers, which has been something they've struggled with. They got back into the fast break and outscored Iowa State in that department too. Those are things that this team has to do to be successful. And you know, Jerome Tang said after the OU game, they got to find a way to win 2 more games. Well, they just got one. And they'll still have Oklahoma coming in here towards the end of the season for Senior Day. They got trips to Oklahoma State and West Virginia to go with that Baylor game coming up. So 4 opportunities for K-State to win more games as the Wildcats search for the postseason and see where they can end up. It's going to be very interesting to me. They're getting ready to release the first top 16. The NCAA selection committee now does that, and I doubt K-State will be in the top 4 seed line, but that's something to keep an eye on. As I've mentioned this before, if Kansas State, I'm going to walk some more. If Kansas State can get in the top 4 seed line, that they have a good opportunity. That was a lot of walking to be in Des Moines or Denver. Really accessible for this student body to show up in fan base in general. And speaking of student body, they were incredible. They sit right back here. They were amazing in this game. Jerome Tang's got them all in. They're completely invested in the program. And of course, Coach Tang did his Wabash, post-game Wabash with the student body. It's always entertaining. I always find great enjoyment from that for some reason. Some of the other stats, Keontae Johnson kind of got it together. He looked better, still playing kind of tired at times. I think, you know, at the end of the game, he kind of passed it off to Ish Massoud. It ended up being a turnover because everyone except Keontae thought Keontae was going to dunk the ball, but I think he was just gassed. But he did score 15 points in this game. He looked good. It looked like everything was a little bit more like it used to be, although this team just struggled incredibly in the first half, trailing 31-23 at halftime. So they outscored Iowa State 38-24 in the second half. But having Key back in the groove at 15 points, there was 6 of 13 shooting. He only tried 1 3-pointer in this game and missed that. I just don't feel like he's taken enough threes. I feel like that is a strength of his game that'll make the defense come out to him and open up some more penetration lanes. There were 3 guys, Key, Quan, and Keese, like that, with 6 rebounds apiece. K-State wins this game. And boy, the Wildcats certainly looked more like themselves, but they've got a long ways to go. And a buddy of mine from Iowa State came down to talk to me, and he goes, I can't believe how much this team reminds me what Iowa State went through last year, because they started so fast. They got into the top 10, and then they started losing games in the conference, and they really kind of fell apart as the season went on. But they got into the NCAA tournament, and they made it to the Sweet 16. Once they started seeing opponents outside of this conference, which just gets brutal. Everyone knows everyone so well at this point in the season. It's so difficult to win games. But you get outside the conference, I think K-State will be much better off. Defenses won't be quite as tuned in to everything you got to do against the Wildcats. So just get into that tournament, get as high a seed as possible, and let it roll. I think everyone will be overjoyed with his Sweet 16 appearance in Jerome Tang's first season. This absolutely wasn't expected. So all of this is just wonderful for Kansas State basketball fans as Jerome Tang's come in and lit a fire into this program. Onward to Baylor on Tuesday night. We'll see if the Wildcats can slow down what is maybe the hottest team along with Kansas. As I said, they're playing right now in Lawrence in the Big 12 as the race for the top of the Big 12 heats up. K-State still kind of on the fringes. you know, if Baylor can win at Kansas and then Kansas State can beat Baylor, it might get interesting for the Wildcats. Well, that's it for this walk and talk. Make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube channel. Make sure you're checking out the YouTube channel in general. The daily deliveries right now are locked in on the closing, the mothballing of Ahern Fieldhouse, why this building, Brownwoods Coliseum, was built, and some of the things, some of my thoughts about the future of K-State basketball in terms of playing in this building. That's it for this walk and talk. Bottom line, Marquise Noel put this team on his shoulders, scored 18 points in the second half, and helped Kansas State across the finish line, beating Iowa State here on Saturday afternoon.